Hi, it's Mitch from pickdawgz.com here with your free pick in the Heat versus Spurs NBA matchup on Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. Of course, here on YouTube, I do more free pick videos than anyone, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out all of our free pick videos. But let's get to this one between the Spurs and the Heat, and the Heat 5-point favorites against the San Antonio Spurs. And I have to say that these two teams kind of a microcosm of how the entire second half or the bulk of the NBA season has gone thus far. The Heat, very, very tough to figure out exactly what they're doing or what their plan is, as they sit in the Eastern Conference playoff race in the 7th spot, tied with the Celtics for the 6th spot, and certainly needing to get some wins. But when they get on the court, this doesn't look like a team that needs wins. It's a team that has lost back-to-back games, and while losing at Atlanta against the Hawks doesn't sound that bad, the Hawks were missing some of their top players in that game, like Trae Young and Clint Capella. Meanwhile, last time out at home against the Chicago Bulls as a 5.5-point favorite, they lose 102-110. This just doesn't make a lot of sense. Meanwhile, on the other side of it, the Spurs, starting to crank it up at the end of the season. They've won 5 of their last 6 games, their last 3 games in a row, including a win against the Washington Wizards last time out in overtime, 146-143. So doing what they need to do. But when they were in the playoffs, in the 8th spot and in the 7th spot, and even better, they couldn't buy a win, and they knew they were in danger of sliding out. But right now, sitting in the 9th spot, tied with the Grizzlies with the exact same record for that 8th spot. So these games super meaningful over the last 3 weeks of the NBA season for the San Antonio Spurs. When we look at how they've been playing, for the most part, the Heat's defense has been on fire, but the Spurs really not doing anything well as far as offense and defense. But when you look at the statistics for the entire season, they don't really tell you much of the story, because, as we know, players are playing sometimes, not times, and we don't know who's playing and who's not playing until right up to the tip-off. In most of these cases, it looks like Iguodala is probable. Harrow is questionable for this one. Nunn is questionable for the Heat, and Robinson probable, and Vincent probable for the Heat. So, it looks like they should have a lot of their players ready to go for this one. The Spurs are 4-0 against the spread on the road against a team with a winning home record, though. And the Heat 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 home games against a team with a winning road record. The Spurs are 1-4 against the Heat, though, in their last 5 meetings, but 6-2 against the number in their last 8 meetings with the Heat in Miami. Doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of these trends just contradict each other. But what we do know about these teams is that this should be a fairly competitive game, and both these teams a lot of pride, and certainly it's going to be tight. I think having the 5 points with the Spurs just seems like a nice place to be. I'll take the Spurs here in the 5 points, and that's going to be my free pick. Of course, if you're wondering who the top handicappers have today as their best bets, head on over to pickdawgz.com and click on the Premium Picks tab.